don't understand how big a deal that is, like Cargill being closed. But Cargill, it's, they talk about how there'll be no shortages of meat. I don't know. That's a big hole to fill, right? Hopefully they get going.
Throughout the course of this pandemic, Canadians and really people around the world have been wondering when they're going to be able to get back to work, and really if they're going to be able to get back to work. Right now in Alberta, we're seeing an outbreak, an epicenter caused by the Cargill meat packaging plant and the people who work there. Cargill employs largely a temporary foreign workforce, something that our politicians seem to love. It's like crack cocaine to these people. Politicians import temporary foreign workers to replace Canadian labor at a cheaper rate, and companies love it. It's cheaper wages for them, and they can increase their margins. Politicians love it, especially politicians like Justin Trudeau, because it increases their voter base. Now, the only person and the only people that are losing out on this deal that big corporations, big foreign corporations like Cargill and Justin Trudeau have made, the people losing out are the Canadian people who need these jobs. Cargill employs 2,000 people. Over 2 million Canadians are unemployed right now. These Canadians are looking to put food on the table and are concerned if they're going to be able to make rent payments. These people will take these jobs, even though the common thought is that Canadians just don't want to take dirty jobs. They don't want to work in meat packing plants. That's actually proven to be demonstrably false by the CBC themselves. They brought on a law student who said that he would work in agriculture and agri-food. Listen to this.
You would see yourself doing in terms of volunteer work or one of the jobs that the Prime Minister was talking about?
Honestly, farming sounds quite interesting. I do have...
Now, of course, Rosemary Barton was laughing uncontrollably at that young lad wanting to work on a farm. Someone from her elitist bubble, a law student. She just couldn't stomach the idea of someone from her bubble wanting to get their hands dirty and work on a farm. It's the typical liberal way of thinking. Those jobs aren't for Canadians, they're dirty. Those jobs are for foreigners. They come here to do our dirty jobs. That's the way Rosemary Barton thinks. That's the way liberals think. Now, of course, conservatives, the son of Prime Minister Stephen Harper even, the son of a Prime Minister, Ben Harper, getting a degree at Columbia University, was working on a farm last summer. Now, of course, he would want to work on a farm. He's a conservative, after all. It's good work working on a farm. It's rewarding work. I used to do it myself. I used to work on a feedlot in my family farm. Now, because of the decisions that big business, big foreign business, and our federal politicians have made to rely on a temporary foreign workforce for essential work of securing our food supply, we're at major risk of not being able to get protein when we go to the grocery store. That will affect every single Canadian, but nobody more than the ranchers who provide us our food. Ranchers who've been ranching in Canada and Alberta for centuries. These ranchers are taking the brunt of the fallout from the closure of Cargill and JBS in Brooks. These farmers have cattle that they usually send to feedlots, and those feedlots fatten them up, and then those feedlots ship off the cattle, the head, to Cargill to get butchered and then sent to the shelves. Unfortunately, the feedlots are filling up, and small-time farmers and medium-sized farming operations aren't able to get their cattle to market. It's going to be devastating for them. I caught up with Jeff Warwick. He's the owner and operator of Bruce Farms, a major grain and beef operation south of Calgary. Here's that conversation.
People don't understand how big a deal that is, like Cargill being closed.
So as you're trying to move cattle right now, how long do you think you can hold out for before this starts negatively impacting your business?
Well, it's already negatively impacted because the price is dropping, for the, cattle that do sell, but it's almost nothing, right? You've really only got one plant able to buy cattle in Alberta now, and that's the Harming plant. That kills 500 head a day, so it's almost irrelevant, right? The only plant that's running. They're the first one to get the virus, right? And they'd already, they had the steps in place, and so far, whether good luck or good management or a little of both, they've managed to keep going, right? But Cargill, it's, they talk about how there'll be no shortages of meat. I don't know. That's a big hole to fill, right? Hopefully they get going. But this has big repercussions for agriculture, right? For the cattle industry, for agriculture, right? Huge. But it just keeps getting worse, right? And now you've got, all the crazy stuff coming out. Let's shut everything and blah, blah, blah. Obviously there was some things done wrong, but or it appears that some things were done wrong, right? Maybe didn't react quick enough.
Politicians need to start putting Canadians first. They need to start putting Canadian ranchers first. They need to start putting Canadian workers first. Unfortunately, with Justin Trudeau at the helm, it's highly unlikely anything is going to change. We have to put our faith in business and ask them to be hiring Canadian. If you need a job right now, I consider sending a resume to Cargill or JBS. They're looking for workers all the time. For Rebel News, I'm Keean Bexte. Thanks for checking out our coverage here at Rebel News. Be sure to like and subscribe to us. But if you've done that already, be sure to ring the bell at the bottom of this video. If you do that, YouTube won't be able to redirect traffic to mainstream media sites. You'll get notified of the news whenever it happens.